Naturally right-handed? Yeah.
All over the face. So when hitting something like the driver where there's gear effect involved, one of the things that I don't think many golfers really understand is what does strike point do to shot type. And actually one of the things that when we're often fitting, whether it's the coaches or us in the fittings, we're looking at where's someone's strike point and how does that influence shot type, and how can we then use the clubs to help manage that shot type or that spin profile. So what I'm going to demonstrate today is strikes on different part of the face and what that actually does to performance, and why we might use certain club heads to mitigate some of that. So I'm going to try and catch different bits of the club face, look at the variations in shot, and then why it happens essentially. So let's get on a little toe side. So that particular shot, very neutral delivery, face a little bit open, but strike-wise, 13 mil out of the toe. So what should happen from that delivery is a little bit of a left to right, with an open club face by 2 degrees. However, the toe strike has got the opposite reaction. It's just drawn over slightly. Also has the effect of keeping spin down a little bit. So what it actually creates is a very efficient shot, but actually from a slight mishit. So if we go the other way, catch it a little bit out the heel. So actually what it also shows is you can hit a draw from an open club face position and strike point can help gear it back in. So if I catch it a little bit out the inside of the head, or a lot potentially on that one. So we've got a little bit high on the face, which has brought the spin down, but what we can see from that is, going the other way, you've got 3 degrees closed on the face angle, face to path, but strike is 12 mil out the heel. So what that shot's done, instead of drawing right to left, that's actually held it straight. So a misaligned face and a missed strike has actually resulted in a very straight shot. So what we have to be careful of on the course, especially if you're trying to fix a shot type, is actually more within reason, more important is where are you striking it, because your shot shape can be influenced quite heavily by a strike inside the center point or outside the center point to mitigate a face angle. I'm going to show now is a little bit of low and high on the face and what that also does. So actually you can see from that last shot, heel strike should spin a little bit more, but because I've caught that high on the face, it's taken very high launch and taken a load of spin off. So actually you got quite a lot of distance back for the ball speed lost. If I go the other way and catch it low on the face, so what we can see there is the complete opposite. So slightly open face, pretty centered strike, it's faded a little bit. Whilst the ball speed's maintained really well, the spin has gone through the roof. That's gone up to 3,500. That's my 3-wood spin. So whilst actually low on the face creates a little bit of gearing up, potentially a little bit of fade gearing, if you're not right out on the toe side, what it also does, it adds a load of spin. So whilst it keeps a straight shot, you're losing a lot of distance. So actually for those last 2 shots, that one had 156 ball speed and has gone 271. The previous shot had 144 ball speed and has gone 272. So we've lost 12 miles an hour ball speed out the high strike, but because it's geared spin off, it's kept the run out yardage, it's kept the shot strength, it's actually gone quite a good distance. So the thing to take away from this is actually your strike point will really influence the distance, the trajectory and the shot shape. So getting a bit of an understanding about where your strike tendency is can really help mitigate shots on the course, but also say from a club head selection, we're looking at that strike point to say, right, where do we need to be from a head design standpoint. If someone regularly strikes it out the toe, you don't really want to be going for a very low spin head, because what ends up, the spin knuckles off and the ball falls out the sky. So we'll tend to use heads like Ping the 430, maybe a TSR2, just to help retain a little bit more spin performance. There are other heads that, if you're a little onto the heel side, you tend to spin it a lot, and that can lose a little bit of ball speed as well. But there are heads that are especially good at keeping spin down out of the heel. The Callaways have always been particularly good on the heel strike. Something like an LST Ping, maybe the previous models of the TaylorMade, the Stealth in particular, Stealth Plus, those have been good at keeping spin down out of a slight heel strike, which keeps some of the flight strength. So we're always looking at how can we use the club heads and the design to mitigate a kind of tendency on strike to optimize performance, but without going to a head that can hurt someone from that strike point as well. So again, a little bit of a heel strike out of the historically one of the Strixon heads. That's always spun up quite a bit. The current one, the LS, is better, but historical models, we knew we couldn't go to that head if someone had a heel strike. Coincidentally, out of the toe side, some of the TaylorMades have been very low spin. Some of the Callaway's, you go back to the Maverick Sub-Zero, is very, very low spin out the toe, and you could see it all literally fall out the sky. So there are certain keys and triggers that we'll use, depending on strike point, to help us get the most consistency of flight and performance and mitigate a mishit that the strike point causes. So one of the ways you can be aware, you don't necessarily need a TrackMan or a GC quad to tell you where your strike point is. You can use a little bit of actually athlete's foot spray. It's a powdery spray that goes on the face that will show you a ball mark on the face. There are, in fittings, there are some of the tape that leave a little bit of a mark on the face that we can use as well. But something like an athlete's foot spray is one of the best ones because it gives that powdery coating and that shows you that strike point really, really accurately. Whereas obviously on the TrackMan or something like a GC quad, we get a depiction of that strike point. So once you understand your strike point, that tells you what your shot shape tendency from strike point is going to be. That can help you manage that on the course and get the most consistency of fairways hit that you can.